All right, good morning, class. Here we are today. I'm going to demonstrate how to replace a freeze plug, or what they call expansion plugs. We have some expansion plugs in the blocks here. You can see them. They're also in the head. So we have, these look like those are made out of a brass or a copper. These are some kind of a tin. They're usually a softer kind of metal so that they'll actually squish into the area and kind of seal. They're made a little bit bigger than the hole so that they'll press in. They have to get pressed in there pretty good. And I like to put some sealant on there. I usually use like some black silicone, and Permatex is pretty good stuff. So anyways, I want to show you how to take one out and put them in, but I want to show you where they're at first. So there's a couple here in the front of the engine. There's one on the head back here. Also, they have some back on the back side of the engine. So this is where the transmission would bolt up to. So you have to make sure you do these correctly because you don't want to take the engine back out or the transmission out to repair a leak that happened because you didn't put them in there correctly. And also at the back of the head, there's some here. Also, we can take the engine and flip it around upside down. And on the bottom side, there are freeze plugs in the block as well. So on here on the side of the block, there's 3 on this side, and then over here there's 3 more over here. And you can see where got a little bit of antifreeze left over in that one there. When you do freeze plugs, you have to make sure they're clean. So this surface inside of here has to be nice and clean. So wire brush, or if you have to scrape it out, whatever's on there needs to come out. And then before you put your freeze plug in. There's a galley plug. I always check those. Those are pretty easy. You just take those out, replace the plug, put some Teflon on there, and put them back in. As long as the threads are good in the block, you're good. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to do the ones on the front here, or A1 on the front. So we'll get this set up. And what you need, the tools that you're going to need is a hammer. You're going to need a punch, so some kind of a punch like this. And so what I use this for is you have to be careful with the freeze plug. So here's a new one. And when the freeze plug is installed, it has a tension all the way around the circumference there. And so they're really easy. If you hit them on one side, it'll kind of spin it sideways like that. You want to be careful not to hit them too hard or in the center because you'll push them through and then it will fall inside the block. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you only push on one side with the punch just enough to where that will spin a little bit, and then you can get on this side over here and then kind of like pry it out and it'll pop out the front in the right direction. Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick how I do that. Wish me luck. Doesn't always turn out perfectly, but we'll give it a try real quick. So we're going to take this and we're going to hit right in the corner right there with the punch. And see how it just turns a little bit like that? I'm going to spin it just like that, and I'm going to get behind it and pull it out the front just like that. Now we got lucky on that one. Sometimes they fall in there and they're hard to fish out sometimes. And you need to get them out because they can block your passageways in your cooling system. So it's not good to leave them in there. Not good to leave in there at all. So I'm going to clean up that silicone a little bit. Just take the edge of a screwdriver, kind of scrape that out, get that stuff off of there so it's nice and smooth for the new freeze plug, new expansion plug to put in there. Okay, get all that silicone off of there, and then you just kind of give it you kind of feel it with your finger to see if it's going to be rough or not, and if it is, you just keep scraping. And then once you get that scraped off, you have to get some silicone. I like to use Permatex. And it's pretty good right there. And you're going to take, so your Permatex is right here. And I usually put a little bit on the outside of the freeze plug, so all the way around on the outside of here, right on the edge. And then I also put a little bit inside here all the way around to make sure I get a good seal. So I'm going to take a little bit here, my finger, make a thin film all the way around the inside of that hole there. And then I'm going to take a little bit and put it on the freeze plug itself, right there. You guys can see what I'm doing, hopefully. And then the trick is to get it inside. And the way you do that is you find a socket. Oh no. Gotta start over.